I'm live. That's what it says anyway. Getting the peanut butter out of my teeth. Oh, happy September 1st. Yeah, September 1st. Now I feel like I was speaking like a little Edie. But good day. Yeah, we had some good stuff going on here. I'm going to change this. Very cool. So, Cheryl Siegel, hello. So good to see you as well. I'm back and I'm here and I'm glad to be back. So, yay, getting back into the swing of things. It's fun to have different things. Judy Duke says, happy September 1st. Beautiful day to work outside. It is. I just actually came back from a very short walk around my neighborhood and realized some things that might be nice if they got done in our yard. And yet notice how I'm not saying I need to do that. I'm in my bougie era. What can I say? I'm in my lazy era. But yes, it is beautiful where we are. The sun is out. It's a little bit on the cool side. And I will say this shoulder season of summer into fall, which reminds me of going back to school, always gets me a little bit in the feels. But I'm working through it. And I swear, once I change my what do you call it? The clothing that I wear, my wardrobe, if you will. Once I change my wardrobe into my fall clothes, I will feel a lot better about it. That's why I'm actually wearing a bigger hoodie here as opposed to one that I was wearing earlier. But yeah, making the most of what we have, because I can be like, I can't believe it's turning cold out. That doesn't work. It doesn't change anything except make me feel worse. Going with the flow and realizing it can be a little bit of a rough adjustment. But once I'm on that road, I do need to buy some jeans, though. I was thinking about that. I'm going to write that down. Jeans. Because I don't think I have any. Anyhow, yeah, Judy Duke says, I love hoodie season. To me, hoodie season is almost year round, as you've probably seen, because I realized how much like my body temperature, we talk about how you feel physically. And I don't want to get overly particular about things, but I do clue into the tiny little things that can make or break how I feel. Like yesterday, for example, I think about this. I was so proud of myself yesterday when we went to this event and I was starting to get cranky. And I realized I could put on a sweatshirt and I could use the porta potty. Two things that made my physical body feel better. And when I felt better physically, I felt better in many other ways as well. I was less crabby. I was more chill. I was more go with the flow. So check in with your own self. Is the changing of the season, if you have a change of season where you are, or maybe the lack of the change of season can throw you for a loop. Now, Melody says, I wish I knew where my hoodie was. Well, wishes can be granted. Here we go. Long live Jambi. Melody, maybe I'm just riffing here because I'm going to be here. Beth, Destination Decluttered, Decluttering Life Coach at your service. I'm looking over here. It is Monday, September 4th, 12:04 p.m. Eastern. I will be here for the next 56 minutes. So Melody, if you want some company while you looked for your hoodie, why don't you do it now? And then you can tell us how excited you are when you find your hoodie. So go look for your hoodie. I'm not going anywhere. Oh, funny. Cheryl says, hi, Beth. Crazy me watching your recording earlier because I thought TikTok was live at noon. And here's a funny thing. Did I screw things up? It's distinctly possible. Nope. 9 a.m. TikTok. Usually I do the TikToks first and the YouTubes later. Tomorrow and Thursday, I'm mixing it up, though. Okay, you didn't. But see, Cheryl, I'm cool with it. I am human. I have made mistakes in the past. I will make mistakes maybe today, but definitely in the future. So I just want to make sure that I'm giving out the most accurate info. But you know what? You can get the accurate info and still your brain, thinks something else. That's okay. I'm glad you're here now live. See, here's the good thing about the live is watching a recording is great. but you're only doing what has happened in the past. I have to share as an aside. I noticed when my hands went from here to here that uh there's still boxes behind me, right? Have you all seen them during the entire summer and leading up to the summer? And the answer is yes. You know why? Because our basement is still being worked on, and our microwave, what's a polite way of saying shit the bed? Let me know in the comments. So we have somebody, our basement guy is here today. I am hoping all of the work will be done by Thursday, but you know what? Sometimes things take longer. Okay. Okay, so Melody is saying, I know it's in a box of clothes. She's looking for a hoodie. I actually decluttered my hoodies. I will share with you guys. You see me wearing black hoodies all the time. That's kind of one of my, it's literally, I said to somebody the other day, it's almost like my Linus like security blanket. I would rather be a little bit warm than a little bit cool. That's who I am. And yet I knew that I almost had too many hoodies. I think I had 3 or 4, but there was almost, and so I actually donated, I think, one at the end of last year. Now, did I recently buy one over on this trip because I needed one? Yes. Okay. So notice, Melody, notice you haven't unpacked that box yet. Again, no big deal. But if there's something in it, and this is the interesting thing to me about decluttering in a more kind of organic, responsive, as opposed to reactive way. Like normally, like regular folks would like pack up their stuff, move it, unpack it, right? All, regardless if they wanted it or not. But notice the organic approach as we talk about working in the yard. Notice the organic approach of going in to a box of clothes and then just kind of picking out what you want. What do you call that in a garden? Like you go and you pick the vegetables, you go harvest, and not necessarily what you need for living in that house in all 4 seasons of clothing, but maybe you go in and you find just your hoodie and your socks. I always have to put on socks too in this type of weather. So maybe it is I can still wear my summer clothes if I put socks and sneakers on and a hoodie. So pulling out, not all of it, not making it a BFD. I got to unpack everything, but go in and organically see what you pull out and want to wear naturally. And that can help you feel better as you transition into this new season in your new home. Okay. Just thought I'd offer that. But here's the thing I was going to say too is Destination Decluttered Live. It's the best of the best. To me, the best of the best is one-on-one coaching because that's live between 2 people. So we can really focus on just what you're working on, right? We don't have to worry about anybody else. We're just focusing on you. That's the awesome part about one-on-one live coaching. And I do that with people on Zoom. The next best to me is like a TikTok live or YouTube live or even a Zoom. And for those of you, I will plant a seed. For those of you, if anybody here is part of the Destination Decluttered Pen Pal group, Pen Pal Club, I'm calling it a club. Why not? Just kind of rolls off the tongue. If you're interested in joining that, it's wicked easy because you're already on the mailing list. You just email me and say, add me to the Pen Pal Club. But I'm thinking of doing a Zoom just for the people in the Pen Pal Club so that they can get to know each other. Sound interesting to you? If so, just you can make that happen for yourself. Okay. But right now, where we are, not in the future, not in the past, but right here, we're live. September 1st, 12/11, 12:09. My clocks are not managed. So take a moment and let's go through the steps. How are you feeling physically? As I say that, I realize that the waistband of my yoga pants is bugging me, so I'm going to fix it. Okay. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? You don't have to tell me. Tell yourself and listen to yourself. Okay, good to know, Judy Dukes. I'm glad to know that. I will send out a separate email to the people on the Pen Pal Club just about that as well. Hey, Lori Hannah, nice to see you. I bet you have warmer weather than we do here. So Lori is offering, and we worked one-on-one together. She says, chunking it down really works. Not my nature, but in one-on-one coaching, and I tried. Took a little to make it feel okay, but I have so much progress because of it. And then she adds, which I just am charmed by, Beth is the best. Thank you, Lori Hannah. I hope you're doing well. I am. And really, I gotta just share with you. So the steps that I will offer to you, I feel like in my brain, I'm picturing them, and there are kind of 4 major things that are going to help you. And they all include the word down. Scanning down your body and making sure you're feeling okay physically. Not great. I mean, great is great, but if it's not great, if you're feeling okay, if you're feeling bad, do something to make yourself feel better physically. The second one is going to be calming down your nervous system or regulating it, because I always think calming down, because I tend to talk to people who are overwhelmed, so we tend to go down. But sometimes people are way down in the dumps and we need to kind of regulate it. So it's kind of getting it at that just right space. So calming down, breathing down, quieting down, all that. So you're feeling better physically and energetically. And then I am telling you, if you know how to write, if you know how to type, if you know how to talk, writing down, listening to yourself, okay? Listening to you and writing down what you want. Because you know this already. This is the thing. The stuff you want, and I say the stuff, I don't mean like the items. I mean like the experiences, the flavors, the life you want. It's already, much of it is already up here. Writing it down brings it one step, one smidge closer to making it happen. So scanning down, calming down, writing down, and then, as Lori Hannah said, chunking down. Because you could write down, move to Palm Springs, California. That's a destination, and you wrote that down because it's something you want to happen. But in order to get to there from where you are, there are a lot of steps that need to happen. And those steps are chunks. And that's how you move forward. And at any point, you can decide you don't want that destination, but sometimes having that destination written down and chunked down, and then ideally put on your calendar and done and all that type of stuff, will get you going, and not just going, decluttering, but moving in a direction that is leading you towards something you are excited to live. How's that sound? Does that make sense? If it doesn't make sense, let me know. I'll phrase it differently. But really, physical, energetic thoughts out of your head down onto paper, write them down, chunk them down, and then we do them. Now, of course, that is the very just tip of the iceberg, because there's a lot more like thoughts and feelings and stuff, but that's a really good kind of basic map to get from point A to point B. All right. So I love this. Get Sue, therapy gal, Sue is saying decluttering a problem with Apple on a chat. Calming down, needed and doing. Yes, calming down. Realizing how much your energy can affect the outcome. Like the lack of energy means you may not even get started. Too much energy means you may do a lot and then get exhausted and burn out. But also when you're working with people, saying to yourself, what is my goal? My goal, my destination is to have my Apple problem solved and not lose my shit while it is happening. Being calm and feeling okay. Again, not feeling great. Great is great, but okay is totally acceptable. Feeling more regulated, feeling in control of how I feel in this position allows me to have the upper hand. I know when I lose control of emotions and things like that, that's when things can go, in a way you don't necessarily want them to. So keeping your eyes on the prize of what you want to do. So this is me. I'm a life coach, but I'm also a decluttering life coach. So I offer to you, this is why, you guys, I am so grateful to a prior version of myself, a past version of myself who said, why don't you try calling your coaching Destination Decluttered? Because to me, if you start with the end in mind, now I didn't invent this, but I've heard it from somebody, but if it's like creating a road trip. It's like planning any kind of travel. Where do you want to go? And then pausing, quieting down, listening to your heart and your head, and not editing. This is a really important part, and any creative person you meet will tell you this. Do not try to create and edit at the same time. It will frustrate. They are both important parts of the process, but one has to happen before the other. And if you try to do them both, you're just going to do a little stop and starting. So, how can I help you today? You today. What is something that you're struggling with declutter wise that I'm here to help you live and that can help you get moving again and ideally moving in the direction of your destination decluttered? Okay. So think about that for a minute. I'm going to take a sip of my tea and pop it in the comments. That's the real value. Like you are getting literally, and this is the cool thing about these YouTubes, the YouTube lives, is a fraction of the people that show up. It's a small percentage of the people that show up from TikTok. A much smaller percentage show up here. And I like that. I do not mind that because we can get deeper into some things and you pretty much get, in a way, like free one-on-one coaching. Now it's one-on-one coaching in front of people. And we don't talk like we would if we were on Zoom. You have to use the comments, but still, who wouldn't want free help from an expert? So think about it for a minute. What could help you, even just today, to set yourself up for getting to your destination decluttered? Let me see if I can move myself so you can see the little decluttering thing. Here we go. There we go. Oh, see, suddenly I cleaned my house. Messy house in the background. Change your focus. Suddenly, not so messy. And actually, that fits better. So, okay. So, Melody, I love that you first started watching me on TikTok because that's where I started this whole thing. And I still show up on TikTok. And mainly, I'm showing up on TikTok. I'll be completely transparent with you because it is so much easier for people to kind of find you that may never have known about you. So I primarily show up on TikTok for the new people. For the people who already know me and the kind of the cool kids in the club who have access to the schedule, you guys, that's you right here. You knew I was going to be here at noontime and you showed up. That means you get me like instead of being in a giant auditorium, suddenly, like instead of an auditorium, and I was thinking of like, that makes me think of like being at work and going to seminars and stuff, yawn. Pretend like all of a sudden I'm in like the amphitheater talking to everybody, but then you knew enough that at a certain time I was going to be in the cool little place where all the cool kids knew to go see the band because they were part of the club, you know? Hey, this is really fun. Lady Bandit, really nice to hear from you. And I'm hoping your mom is well. She says, good stuff. Always good. Accentuate the positive, people. She says, while you were gone, I got rid of 6 bags of clothes. Everything now everything in my closet fits and I love it. And it makes getting dressed fun. See, that's what we're all about. Love and fun. Can you imagine? What else would you want in life but love and fun? You know? But so good. And I love the fact, I got to share with you, I love the fact that you did that when I wasn't around. That you learned you learned how to get your own car driving without me being there to remind you of the steps. To notice how it feels when you are decluttered, yes, but also while you are decluttering, knowing that you're aiming for, I want to have only clothes that fit, and I want it to be fun to get dressed because I love the clothes that I have. They fit my body, they look good and feel good. So now dressing is fun. Can everybody say that? Can you right now say everything in my drawers, in my closet, and all my stored clothing? fits and it's fun to get dressed, I'm pretty good with that because I've lost a couple of pounds, and so I have happily been donating some clothes here and there that I just are too big for me, or I can still fit them, but they make me look kind of dumpy is my word. Um, and I know that I may not be this smaller weight for the rest of my life. So man, I joked to my husband, I'm going to call this skinny summer. So I donated some of the clothes that I was wearing when I was much bigger than this. And it feels good to get dressed and not look in the mirror and feel bad about myself. Decluttering can help you feel better about yourself, and also it can encourage you to change what you don't like. So yay for the good stuff that happened when I wasn't here. Um, I know myself, I'll offer this to you. Um, there we go. Melody says, I'm hoping to be able to buy some smaller clothes soon, trying to lose some weight. Yeah. So notice you have a destination of um, losing some weight. That's a destination. And you know how you do that? You do the things that will help you. I will totally be clear. The only way I have been able to lose weight in the past year, and I've been unsuccessful for the past 6 or 7 or 8 years, is because I got on a GPL1, GLP-1, one of those, right? Only way. So I will offer, you can eat smaller, you can chunk it down, and you can exercise more. Yeah, sometimes you can do that and still it doesn't work. So if you're able to, find something that works for you. Okay. Same thing with decluttering. You may have tried different things during your life to get decluttered and stay that way, as I like to say. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. Or sometimes they work for a while and then, kind of like the pounds, the clutter kind of creeps up again. So notice right now what hasn't been working for you. What isn't working? Find that out and we can flip it over to find the opposite of what works, kind of like the yin and yang, the other side of the coin, the other side of the folded piece of paper in half, right? On this side, you have things that are not working, discouragement, fear. On this side, where I like to hang out, you've got love and fun and encouragement and possibility and structure and support. And you can choose where you hang out. You may find yourself often on the side of fear and discouraging and all that kind of stuff, because I think that's how we're wired human wise. Maybe you're wired to show up there initially, but you don't need to stay there. You do not need to stay there. Okay? Yeah. You can choose to slowly practice being on the other side and notice how it feels, you know? So yay. Yay. And Nora is saying, just started GLP-1, feel like it's all connected, excess clutter, weight, etc. Yes, we are not in silos. Everything we do has a little bit of connection to everything else, And what I will share with you again, being on a GLP-1 has quieted down the backseat driver in my head that was associated with food and exercise and body image. It is so much easier to do the things that I know I should do and I want to do to have a healthy, strong body when I don't have this constant judging voice in my head. I'll just offer that to you. Yay, Heather MC. So good to see you as well. Happy Reset September. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Kind of the back to school thing. And Lady Bandit, yay, I'm so glad to hear your mom is growing great. See, we're all in different eras, right? We are moving her into a retirement home and going through her house, deciding what to take. I could hear your wisdom as she makes choices. Oh, it was an honor to coach you and your mom one-on-one. I enjoyed that so much. And I really feel like, again, it was an honor to be part of that chapter of your life with your mom, to know that something I said is making your journey through what can be a really tough and fraught time of life, to make your journey through that a little bit gentler and easier and not so stressful and alone. I just know that I'm in the right place when I hear stories like that. So thank you so much for sharing. Okay. Um, yeah. So Cheryl says, I filled a clothing donation bag and proud of myself. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being proud of yourself. It's not boastful and showing off and being like one of that, but being proud of yourself. She says, I'm proud of myself because I put a pair of lead jeans with tags on it that fit, but they're too long and I can live without them, you know? And I love that. Being proud of yourself for doing the things that before you may have hung on to them. Aw, Lady Bandit. That's awesome. Please send your mom my love. And in turn, I will see my mother this week and I will send her the love of all y'all because I am not just a decluttering life coach on my own. I'm a daughter with an aging mother who isn't going in a nursing home yet and she does not want to. So I am trying to help her manage her home in a way that she's never had to manage it before because she is older now. So I am a daughter who's helping her mom. I am an individual helping myself with my own stuff. I am a wife that is here with my husband and his clutter. I'm a sister who helps her sisters with clutter. I am a coach that helps other people with clutter. I also am an auntie that is, they don't know it yet, but I am helping my nieces and nephews with their clutter by not leaving a lot of stuff for them to have to go through when I die. Now, that won't be for about 40 or 50 years, I'm pretty damn sure. But I will say this, I am also not leaving them with the habits of being a cluttered person. I am also not leaving them, I am leaving them, instead of saying not, I'm going to rephrase that. I am leaving them the legacy of feeling okay about releasing what does not work for you. It can work for you for a while, but let go of things when they don't no longer work for you. Try to, it depends on the thing, but learning how to let go of what isn't working for you anymore and feeling okay about it. That's one of the reasons why I talk about going through decluttering at a pace that works for you. And if you've ever driven on a road or walked with a bunch of people, you will quickly notice that everybody has their own pace of comfort. I tend to walk pretty fast. I like to get a little pep in my step. And I'm also from New England. And so I guess we're just like, snappy people. But when we were away recently and we were on a cruise ship, man, did I realize that I was being like a Boston driver by being on people's bumpers. And I had to pull back because my comfortable speed to move was different from other people's. So I say that to you in decluttering. Declutter, move through life at a pace that works for you, and be okay with that. The pace will change. My pace is definitely slowed since I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, that type of thing. I'm in my 50s now, I'm going to be 60 next year, and it's going to do nothing but getting slower, but slower doesn't have to mean bad. Slow can be slowing down and smelling the roses, doing things intentionally with the intention of not feeling bad about what I'm doing. That's one of the things. It's so funny because within the past summer, I'll say, because once was in July and one was just last night, people who kind of wanted to learn more about what I was doing coaching wise, just socially. I can think of 2 people in mind who said, do you just go in and you tell people like, get rid of that stuff? And I said, no, I don't actually. Because that may work short term, but that's going to lead to resentment and regret. And I don't want to be part of that. And so I offer to you, show up for yourself like I would show up for you. Patience, curiosity, non-judgment, being cool with however you want to. I'm just in the passenger seat. I'm in the passenger seat. You're the driver. How fast do you feel comfortable driving on the highway? Sometimes I like to take the side roads, and other times I just want to get to my destination in a way that feels good because I want to be there. And I want to feel good about how I got there. I don't want to feel like ass when I arrive because I'm exhausted. Okay? So taking care of yourself along the journey, because life is a journey, life is a highway. I don't necessarily want to drive it all night long. I don't care for night driving, but I will drive when it feels good for me. I will be psyched about that, and I will be okay with stopping along the way and enjoying myself. because that's how I roll. Have you scheduled some fun for yourself for September? I've scheduled some for me. On your habit tracker, on your monthly habit tracker that you can download. Remember, you guys, if you're not part of the mailing list group and you want to be, destinationdecluttered.com. Oh, see, this is cool. I can get into the chat here and go. And let's see if you go to destinationdecluttered.com, you can sign up to be part of the mailing list group, and you get immediate access to a page that allows you to download or just print out a PDF. I literally go to that page myself to do it because I know it's here on my computer, but I can more easily find it on that page. Do you have fun? Do you do something fun every day on your Destination Decluttered habit tracker? I hope you do. I hope you do. Now, I don't necessarily need to remind myself to have fun. The things I need to remind myself to do are the things that I consider kind of boring, but I know are good for me. Like, oh, it's supposed to be good for you. Hey, Mikey, right? So I remind myself to do things like floss my teeth, drink some more water. What else do I have over here? Take a walk, take my medicines. It's a bit of my old person thing, but all of those things add up to me feeling better physically and mentally. And that sets me up to feel good when I want to do stuff. So the neat thing is we're meeting right now on the beginning of a month, September 1st. It's also Monday, which typically is the beginning of a week, but it's a holiday day. So we have a little bit of wiggle room. And it's also, in a way, at the beginning of a new season. Now, I grew up in a place that had distinctly 4 seasons. And so this time of year, weather-wise, also makes me think of the academic calendar, the school calendar, the end of summer vacation and the back to school. I think I go from my kind of tropical fun print dresses to almost like plaid, earth tone wool. Okay. And so there is a mental shift sometimes of the crazy fun of Christmas, or excuse me, not Christmas, the summer. And then sometimes kind of getting, as Heather said, reset September. Okay, summer's over. What do I want to do? I'm going to reset. I'm going to go back to school. I'm going to go back to school. What do I want to do? What do I want to learn this fall? How do I want to learn it? What do I want to practice and get better at so I learn a new skill? What are some new skills? And decluttering is a skill, and it is a life skill. It is something you are going to be doing for the rest of your life. So if you're not good at it, why not start now and learn how to be better at it? So it's just something that you do. Now, I have always had the inclination to create order out of chaos. Mainly because I lived in such a chaotic household, I'll be honest with you. And so it gave me a sense of control because I could redecorate my room or put my stuff where I knew it was. Now, did I still collect way too many things and still get overwhelmed and frustrated and all these things I learned to do from the people who raised me? Hell yeah. But I also found out in my decades closer to where I am now that there's a different way of approaching it than I used to do it. So I just offer to you, even if right now you're like, I don't know how to do this, that's fine. It's only taken me pretty much all of my 50s to get a lot of the stuff I am reaping the benefits of starting to learn stuff 10 years ago. Yeah. Even learning that I didn't want to do what I was doing for work anymore. Learning at age 49 that I was like, I cannot keep this up. This is awful. So saying, okay, this is awful. What do I want to happen? And being afraid and whatever, but doing it anyway. So yeah, that's me. So Nora is saying it's a beautiful weather day today in the Northeast. Yeah, it's very nice, very clear, very crisp. Melody says, I have a 16 to 20 ounce water bottle that I fill up twice a day, and that is what I drink throughout the day. And notice, Melody, wonderful thing that you just mentioned is measurement. Measurement. So I typically, you guys see me, drink out of this thing. I use this all the time because this is pretty much 32 ounces. 32 ounces of alcohol, I am going to be drunk as a skunk and like prone on the floor. Okay. 32 ounces of water, I may be running to the bathroom throughout the day, but that's a lot more healthy for me. But measuring what you do on your habit tracker by just filling in a block that you did it, or using a timer saying declutter for 10 minutes. Like if I say drink water, I could be like taking a sip and be like, well, technically I drank water, but I know that I've been told that a certain amount of water will be more beneficial. I also know that I don't feel good if I don't drink a lot of water, and not a lot, but the right amount. Because I could totally notice that when we were traveling, that I was out of my routine and I didn't have as easy an access to water or a bathroom. Okay. So notice the habits you have and just ask yourself today, kind of like a pin in the ground. September 1st, what are the habits that I have? And a little column like yes or no, yes, no, right? Do they get me? Do they lead me towards the life I want, or are they leading me astray from the life I want? Yes or no? You could write that down. Cheryl Siegel, happy belated birthday. Cheryl just turned 65. Love it. Cleaning and organizing my kitchen today. Awesome. Yay. And saying, what do I want as a 65-year-old person? What are some things that I want in my kitchen and what are some things that I don't? Yeah. And being okay with that. I know in my kitchen, I have some really big baking sheets that I haven't used in years because we used to have big parties and we don't have as many big parties as we used to. And I don't bake with those ones. If anything, I have some that are much smaller for my husband and myself. Now, am I getting rid of them right now? No, because A, they don't take up a lot of room. B, I don't want to think that my big party having days are over. So those are a reminder that if we have people over and I want to make a bunch of, pizza rolls or what have you, that they're available. But other things, it may be okay to let go of. Like I have a cake pedestal thing that I'm like, I rarely use that. I never bake cakes. But it's like maybe I could bake a cake. Nah. I don't even have any cake pans to make a cake on. But if I buy a cake, I might say, remind yourself to put the cake on the pedestal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And notice Cheryl in the comments is saying getting closer to retirement. So always decluttering so we have less stuff. So notice your destination is destination retirement. And part of what's going to make retirement feel good to you is having less stuff than you currently have right now. Notice that where the destination can pop up all the time. That one persona, nice to hear from you. Can you discuss things that you don't use but unsure if you want to get rid of? I can, and I will say this right away. The words we use can really help or hinder. I can talk about things in general, and I can give you a very general answer. That one persona, let me ask you this. Is there a thing that you don't use, but you are unsure if you want to get rid of? More specificity gets you a better answer. More specificity gets you a better sandwich. Hello, person at the deli. I would like a hoagie, please. I live in PA, so I can call it a hoagie. What kind of hoagie do you want? That's when you need to be more specific. What size? What ingredients? What condiments? Do you want it toasted? All of those things. So that one persona, I can get general, no problem, but I will offer to you, since it's a nice kind of group of people, is there something that you have, something, notice something, some one thing that you don't use, but you have the feeling of unsure if you want to get rid of it? Put it in the comments and we can talk about that. But notice too, you're unsure. Some things you can be sure you want to keep, and other things you're sure you don't want, like the two extremes, right? Or if we do it top to bottom, we've got the green light in your heart is the stuff you are sure you want to keep. Hell yeah, I am not getting rid of that. Or on the opposite, the red light, the stop that I don't even want is, oh, I so don't want that. That's going to be so easy for me. I put it in a Goodwill bag right then. Okay. All right. So that one persona I will offer to everybody. This is where, again, the travel, the road trip metaphor, the driving, you get the green light of love and you've got the red light of stop. But you know what's in the middle? Well, it's your heart, but it's also it's your heart and your gut and that yellow light. Now, I don't know about you and how you drive, but anytime I see a yellow light, that's when decision making comes. When a green light is there, it's no decision. You don't just decide, do I want to go forward or not? A green light says go forward, or you're going to get honked at. And on the flip side, a red light means stop, or you're going to get like a ticket or into an accident. Yellow in the middle, that one persona says. Logically, notice logic is up here, but feeling is down here. Logically, I think I can get rid of it. But part of me, this part of me, wants to keep it just in case. Okay, just in case what? Okay, she says, traveling at the moment, nothing specific comes to mind. Thank you. Okay, so notice just in case. Finish your sentences. And I don't mean this. I'm not calling out that one persona. Everybody here, this is such an important part of self-coaching and coaching with somebody is in order to effectively communicate to anybody, including yourself, it can really help to speak in complete sentences. So, for example, just in case, or for the memories, or because someone gave it as a gift. All of those things are totally legit. All of those things are totally legit. So finish those sentences. I'm thinking of the trays that I had. Just in case we have a bunch of people over and I need to cook something big. Just in case we have a frozen pizza that says, don't put it on the rack, put it on the thing, which reminds me, we got to clean out the oven, but that's another story. Notice what are your just in case scenarios? If you didn't have the thing, pretend kind of like a flow chart. If you didn't have it, could you use something else for that function? But also notice logic and feeling need to have both green lights in order for you to move your hands. It's almost like if something doesn't work and something doesn't work, that the hands like stay still, right? Now memories, or become somebody gave it as a gift, but a memory, and that's still a memory. It's a story in your head. Somebody gave it to me as a gift, so I remember that thing. Would I buy it on my own? No, but somebody gave it to me as a gift, so I might decide to keep it. You can also, and this is the great thing about living when we do. We have cell phones, most of us, and I just noticed it's quarter of. We get about 15 minutes or so together. We have the ability to take one step away from the physical item and take a picture of something and then keep the picture so we get that visual association, the visual trigger to then open up the file in our head that tells the story. Okay? So all of these things are kind of the deeper things in decluttering, but notice that this is happening to everything. So be nice to yourself. Okay? Alrighty. Be nice to yourself and allow yourself to construct a complete sentence and write it down. And notice this is important. So we talked about kind of the halvesies here and the discouraging voices and stuff and the encouraging voices. That fear is often what's going to have you hanging on to something. So just find out what you're afraid of. I am afraid that if I donate those two big trays, and I'm afraid that it means we are no longer having big parties, that the party giving part of my life is over, and that makes me sad, and I don't want to be sad, so maybe I'll keep those just in case we have a whole bunch of people over and I need to make some hors d'oeuvres. I am afraid that if I get rid of it, then I suddenly will need it again. So just write down what you're afraid of so you know what sentences in your head are informing the actions you take, whether you keep it or let it go of it. But if you don't know why you are keeping something, it can really be eye-opening to learn the stories that you have that are keeping you hanging on to stuff. Okay. So Melody says, I could use whatever advice in this situation. I have things I don't use very often or not at all that it's hard to make it get rid of. Now, notice the difference. There is a difference between two categories. Things I don't use very often, but I still use occasionally, and things I don't use at all. Now, to me, it's okay if there's things that are occasional uses. Again, think about the seasons of the earth, from summer to spring, from summer to fall to winter to spring. There are different seasons, and different seasons of the weather require different items, and different seasons of your life. You know, I only use a lot of my holiday decor at one time of the year, and it's December. But I know I use it occasionally. If it's only once a year, I use it. So I keep it. But I would get curious, Melody. Is there anything that, like, there may be something that comes to mind? Picture something in your head that if I asked you, what is something that is under the category of things I don't use at all, a thing that is difficult I don't use at all, but it's hard to me to get rid of. So think about that one thing. Everybody here has got one, I'm sure. But let me just reassure you. That's the sentimental stuff. We talk about surface clutter, doing the dishes earlier today on the TikTok live. Stored clutter, we just talked about storing your clothes, things like that. Sentimental clutter. That's the stuff that tells you stories that even if you are logically not using it at all, it's not about the usage. It's not about being Mr. Spock on Star Trek. It's about being a feeling human being. It's not like, well, you don't use it. You haven't used it in 6 months. Get rid of it. It's like, yeah, I haven't used it in 6 months because that was like February to like whatever. And I used this in December. Right? Right? I say right a lot. Whatever. So I offer to you, have a conversation with yourself, getting to know you, getting to know all about you. You should get to know yourself. Why am I keeping this? Because it reminds me of my grandmother. Do I use it? Barely. Have I used it? Hardly. Do I still want to keep it? Yeah. Cool. Own your decisions. Feel good about your decisions. When you know the story, if you had to justify everything in your house to somebody else and your story wasn't good enough and they pitched it, so feel strongly about your stories of you keep some things, but also know there can be things you cling on to tightly at a certain point in your life. And then as your life changes, it may be easier for you to release it, or it may not. So trust that where you are right now, that there are some things that you used to want. Just check in with yourself. Do you still want it? Do you still want it? And the answer can be yes. And the answer can be no. And the answer can be like, I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to figure it out. So notice that. Have a conversation with yourself. Speak to yourself in complete sentences and write those sentences down. It is a shortcut like no other to write down this stuff. You can not do that step. You cannot write it down, and it will take you longer to declutter. I feel pretty confident in saying that. You can still get there. It's just going to take you longer because you're going to be learning that you're not going to realize the patterns of how certain phrases still come up in your head that stop you from doing what you want to do. But when you write them down, you'll then have a collection of those things. And you're going to see how often you tell yourself something unhelpful. You've got cellulite. You're old. Look at all those wrinkles on your face. Why would anybody think you're cute? You know, don't wear that. It's going to show the dimples on your butt. I don't know. Those are just a few things that my backseat driver have said to me in the past hour, perhaps. So we always will have the backseat driver, but grow your co-pilot voice. Notice how I can easily share those things that my backseat driver says to me to make me feel bad. I can easily share them with you because I don't truly buy into them. I'd be lying if I didn't say some of it affected me. But I will say I am so much less triggered by what my backseat driver says because that's just one opinion. There's a whole other side where it's like, you know what? If I don't look at my cellulite, I don't see it. And if I don't see it, it doesn't bug me. And if somebody else sees it and is bugged by it, that's on them. It's not on me. You know? So notice how you talk to yourself. Write down what you say. And then if you don't like what you're saying to yourself, create a better, more loving response. This is why I am a decluttering life coach, because this really helps in life, but it also helps with decluttering. How about I don't declutter because I'm sick of picking up after people? Okay. How about then experimenting with not picking up after people and inform them that you are no longer picking up after them? Notice the words you have in your head, and if they're making you feel crappy, declutter those and replace them with some better words. That's what I say. Because you are going to be living in your head and your bod for the rest of your life. In your house, maybe not. You may move a few different times before you leave this mortal coil, but you will be living in your body and your brain for the rest of your life. So take care of them both. That's why we start with the scan, taking care of your physical body. I am finding I have to take so much more time and effort to take care of my body right now to even get to, oh, please, there's no way you could go back, but even to have the same strength and stamina and whatever that I used to have naturally, I now have to work to maintain that, or it's going to go bye-bye. And I want to be around for a long time. I want to be able to take the stairs for as long as possible. I want to be able to walk for long distances every day whether I'm traveling or not. I want to be able to easily pick up my suitcase and put it in the overhead bin so I don't have to check luggage. That used to come easy to me when I was younger and my natural body was at its prime. Now I got to start like a weightlifting routine or something. But doing work to get a result you want is different than doing work to get a result that somebody else said you should want, or a result you don't want at all. Like, what's in it for me? What is wrong with that question? Do you ever ask yourself when somebody says, what's in it for me? I would like to think there's got to be something in it for you when you say yes to a thing. What's in it for me? And if there isn't something in it for you, then why would you do it? And I'm not saying that to be like, what's the word I want to use? Greedy, selfish, like there's nothing in it for me. Why would I do it? You can do things. And the thing that's in it for you is you feel good about doing it. You know? So this is again why we go back to destination decluttered. Destination. What's in it for me? What do I want? I want a home that looks like this, functions like this, feels like this. I want a body that looks like this, that functions like this, that feels like this. I want a life that looks like this, that functions like this, and feels like this. Now, the wonderful thing is I have written down for myself my definition of my awesome life. I have defined it. I have it printed out right there where I can see it. And I see words that I will share with you: confidence, flexibility, saying yes, um, I enjoy, spending time, I enjoy feeling, helping others, being connected, trust, delight. Did I say that already? I probably did because I like to be delighted. Peace of mind, abundance, generosity. Think about, do you want any of those things in your life? If you do, I've given you some words. You could write them down. How can you incorporate those things into your life on a daily basis? See, this is the fun thing I will share with you guys, that this blew my mind when I was going through my coaching training. The way we've been brought up a lot, and even I will say a lot of, like, I grew up Catholic, so I'll just offer, is the end result: deny yourself, feel crappy, feel crappy, feel crappy, and then the end result will kind of make up for it. I mean, think about it. Have a miserable life, or, deny yourself things in life so you can go to the gates of heaven. What I will offer to you is, when you start living a life that feels good to you and you're on your way to it, it's like the best road trip ever, because you get a taste. You are living in the feeling of the destination without having gotten there yet, but you technically have already gotten there because you're going there for that feeling. So the more you can generate that destination feeling on a daily basis, you've already won. You've already won because you're feeling good. You're feeling that feeling you think you can only feel if you're there, but you're feeling it a little bit on the way. Isn't that kind of cool? So think about that. When people say, this is fun, I'm feeling good about getting dressed. I am feeling good about letting go of what I don't want. I am feeling better about this, feeling good, feeling better. In the moment, I had a day where I felt good when I got dressed. I had a day where I felt good when I got a glimpse of myself in the mirror and I liked what I was wearing and I felt like I looked cute. And then I walked through that day with that good feeling. I had a day that I decided to do something different because I was tired of being hunched over. And so now I'm practicing with this like posture bra. And I probably am still slumped over, but I'm working on it. So I just offer to you, as we're closing out, we got about 2 minutes left. Today is kind of a beginning of a new chapter. It's a new chapter because it's a new month. It's a new week. And this doesn't mean changing everything, but you can change one little thing. One little thing can change the trajectory of your life if you pick it. Now, I like to think that showing up and hanging out with me and getting inspired and then doing stuff with that inspiration is a cool thing to do. So that's why I show up for you and I show up for me. This helps me make sense of the thoughts I have to see if they're worth sharing. So if you like what you've been hearing, we've got another YouTube Live and TikTok Live tomorrow, the next day, then I'm away for a few days because that's how I roll. But there is a schedule from Monday, September 1st, all the way to Saturday, September 13th, which is our first declutter party. And I will be setting up those tickets momentarily and sending out an email to remind you all that the tickets are available. And that's for the people in the email group. The good stuff goes to the people in the email group and the people in the Pen Pal Club who are a subsidiary of that. So any of that is of interest to you, go to destinationdecluttered.com, join us, and let's have some fun together, okay? Now, speaking of that, after I sign off, what am I going to do? I'm going to look in the kitchen. I hope that there is a microwave that has been installed, but I don't know. I know that there is going to be work that is being done down the basement, so we're one step closer to getting all these boxes out of here. And I have destination, feel good about what I do and how I do it so that when I go to bed tonight, I feel good. Okay. Speaking of nighttime, just as a heads up, there are a couple of late night, and I say late, 8 p.m. Eastern, late night TikTok and YouTube lives, basically. So take a look at the schedule, show up. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys, and I will check you out later. Bye.